What's good, everyone? I hope you're having a great day so far. In this episode, I want to kind of add on to last week's episode where I talked about people pleasing. Feel free to watch it if you haven't already. Today, I want to talk about the fact that you do not have to find out what other people want from you. If they can't voice it, maybe they're not meant to have it. So I want to start off with an example so you understand what I'm about to say. I don't remember where I heard it, but I think it matches the topic very well. If someone tries to give you a present or a gift and you don't accept it, who does it belong to? It still belongs to the person that tried to give you the gift, right? Same thing with negative energy or thoughts. That's to start this episode off. So first off, I want to have a little moment for us to step back into ourselves and ask ourselves some questions, okay? The questions being, what things do you want? How do you act and behave to get the things that you want? And how do you communicate your needs? Write this down if you need to, but it's just very important that you think about this for a sec. I also want you to think about how you react and behave when you don't get the things that you want. So, notice how you put effort into the things you want. If others cannot do that for themselves, it's not your job to figure it out for them. Never is, never was, never will be. Some of us, me included, need to practice being selfish a little bit. The last therapist I went to actually told me that. Yes, I've been to therapy. No, I'm not ashamed of it, and neither should you. I think everyone should go to therapy, by the way. So, with being selfish also comes being a little petty sometimes. We don't want to be rude, but we want to be a little petty. So, if someone clearly wants something from you and gives you all the signs, just play dumb. Sometimes all you need to do is play dumb. Because if someone can't tell you what they want from you, why would you care? They can't be mad at you for not knowing what they want. A good example would be maybe you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend that will always be mad at you but never tell you why. And you would ask, hey, did I do something wrong? What's up? And it's always, nothing, no, meh. You need to learn how to detach from this situation because it is not your responsibility. If they don't want to tell you, you cannot know. And sometimes people get lost in that because they feel like they should figure it out themselves. They should know. They won't know if you don't tell them. If you have a problem with me and I don't know about it, how will I be able to fix it? Not at all, because I don't even know there's a problem to begin with. And if I feel that something is off, I feel you behaving differently, or I feel you behaving weird, I won't be here trying to ask you about, oh, did I do something wrong? What's wrong? Did something happen? Did I say something wrong? That's not who I am. If you have a problem, voice it. Tell me. If you tell me that I did something wrong, that something I said maybe hurt or triggered you, I will do my best to correct my behavior and to correct the situation. But if you can't stand up for yourself to tell me, I'm not gonna do shit, because how am I supposed to know? About how I said that you maybe have to be a little petty, I don't mean that you have to play God or anything. But I am saying that sometimes people need you to play dumb in order to step out of their comfort zone and talk and communicate. And some people actually have never learned how to communicate their feelings because they learned that it's unsafe for them to do so. So, if you get someone to a point where they have to communicate what is wrong, and you react accordingly, you take it well, you have a conversation and fix things, they can unlearn this behavior and see that it wasn't even that bad. A good conversation can fix a lot, especially in relationships. Difficult conversations form strong relationships. If you just avoid these conversations, your relationship cannot be strong because you just avoid everything. So there will be cracks. And I bet you all know the analogy with the wine glass where you can you break it and then you glue it back together. But when you pour something in it, the liquid will still pour out. That's that relationship. Because if you can't communicate about what those little cracks are and what's causing them, there's no way for you to prevent the glass from breaking. Same goes to you though. You need to learn how to communicate your needs and feelings. And I need you to do that in a rational state of mind. And I know sometimes when we're caught up with our emotions and everything that's going on, it's very difficult to speak calm and rational and not saying things that you might regret later on. But that's something you can practice. So you need to ask yourself the right questions. These questions being, how am I feeling right now? What's causing me to feel like this? Is there any way to fix it? If yes, what is it? Is this way of fixing things in my control? And if it's not, you need to let it go. You cannot trust people to fix your problems. And if you are with someone, if that's a friendship or a relationship, does not matter. But if you are with someone that has the power to make you feel like your problems are not fixable, or someone that you feel like is able to fix your problems but won't, you need to take a big step back, because that's unhealthy and we're not for that. Also, I think we need to differentiate, because there are things that you don't have to be petty about. For example, you're getting yourself a glass of water and the person sitting next to you looks at you like they want water. You don't gotta be petty about that. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't know what you want. Well, they're not talking, but you know what I mean? Like, you didn't tell me what you want. How would I know? Because it's water. Get them water. Like, just ask, hey, do you want some too? Yeah, of course. Okay, I'll get you some. That's the type of things we don't need to act crazy about. But if it is, like I told you, a boyfriend or a girlfriend that just gets mad and won't tell you why, or I've had friends that acted like this too, that's something different. Because if you cannot tell me your problem, it belongs to you. Your negative energy belongs to you, because I don't accept it. I don't want other people's negativity in my life. I've been in very, very dark places before, trust me. And sometimes I didn't really know how to react to myself and to my feelings, but I never took my anger or frustration out on somebody else, ever. So with me knowing that I am strong enough to not do that, I know that other people can be too, and they don't need to take their shit out on me or anybody else. And if I see someone do it, I will check them. A good example for how I check people is school, actually. I go to trade school, and so I am one of the older ones there. Not very much older, like 3 years older than the youngest, but still. And with someone in my class, I've had a conversation about homosexuality. And, people can be very weird about that topic. And they can be very rude and ignorant. So they said that if someone in this class came out as gay, they would hit them in the face. You think that was a man? No, it was a woman. It was a girl. And other people immediately joined in on that, being like, yeah, whatever, blah, 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 gay, blah, blah, blah. And I sat there, and I looked at them like, and then I told them, what is your problem? Is your life really that boring that you actually give a fuck about what other people are doing in their beds? Like, as long as it doesn't involve a child or an animal and it's consensual, I couldn't care less about anybody's sexuality. That's just like so fragile. Like, how can someone's ego be so fragile? I'm not gay, and I know for a fact I love women very much, but I just don't understand why anybody would have a problem with anyone being gay. And then there's always the people using specific people on TikTok and Instagram as examples for why they hate gay people. And then I always tell them the same thing. You don't hate gay people. You just strongly dislike this person. But it's not because of their sexuality. It's because they're a shitty person. Or they portray a shitty person on social media. You don't hate their sexuality. You just don't like them. And that made a lot of people think. And it's just very interesting to see that click happening, because a lot of people don't think. They just recite whatever they see on TikTok and think they're so smart and they have the best argument to win anything, when it's just so easily debunked. I will never be a yes man to nobody. If you want a friend that only says yes to everything and always tells you, oh, you're doing so good, blah, 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 I'm not the friend for you. Because I will tell you if I find your behavior not okay. I will tell you if I find something you said wrong, and I will tell you if you did something fucked up. Whatever you do with that is your choice, because if I give you a feedback or criticism about something you did, it's your choice to do whatever you want with that. But I will very clearly see what kind of person you are by the way you react to it. And that's why it's very important for you to analyze things, analyze people, analyze situations, so you know what you surround yourself with and make changes if needed. Because it's very important for you that you are in an environment that you feel safe in, that you feel appreciated in an environment where you can feel calm, like where you can breathe. Because I've been in environments where I felt like I can't breathe, I can't live, I can't talk, because whatever I say will not be heard. And for the longest time, I thought I was the problem. I thought that I didn't voice my things well enough. I thought that I didn't matter. That's what it was. I thought that I didn't matter enough for people to hear me, to understand me. And it took me some time to realize that it wasn't me. Because I'm a very self-aware person. I'm a very calm person, and I'm a very communicative person. If I do something wrong, I will own it. I'm not going to find any excuses or lies for something I did wrong. I will stand here and tell you, yes, I did do this and that, and I'm sorry. I will change this behavior. And whenever I tell you I will change my behavior, you can watch. You can literally just watch. I don't need to prove myself, because my actions will be proof enough. Today at work, I had a little conversation with myself, actually, when I was bringing out the trash. And I had this realization. So I've been thinking about the episode that I want to film today, and how people have to tell me when they want something from me, because I won't know. And that made me realize I want to go out and experience life. I want to experience things. I want to make new experiences and I want to learn from them. I want a life where I can be proud of the things I did. I can even be proud of the things that I'm not proud of. Does that make sense? Like, just because I've experienced it and I've learned from it. And then it hit me. I rarely ever go out. I have one friend who I see almost every day, but we just drive around and listen to music most of the time. And then it kind of hit me because nobody ever asks me to go out and do stuff. And when they do, they mostly ask me to go out like to a club or something. And one thing about me, I really, really, really don't like clubs. It's way too many people. It's way too loud. I can't even speak to my friends. And I hate drunk people. I really don't like being around drunk people or people that are on any other kind of substance. And I don't drink or consume anything except for my nicotine. But I don't like being around people that do. So I always say no. So they never ask me to go to the club. And most of the time, when someone does ask me, I can't go because I have to work. So I was standing there and I literally said this out loud. I was like, if nobody asks you to do things or you always say no to them, why don't you plan something? Why don't you initiate something? And that kind of hit me because I never initiate shit. Like, I rarely text any friend, hey, do you want to meet? It's always my friends reaching out to me. And I haven't ever really thought of that before because it was just kind of the way it is. And so I was like, damn, maybe I need to change that. But it's very difficult where I live to actually plan things and do things because, yeah, this country is not very fun. Except for hiking, because hiking where I live is just beautiful. But I have bad knees, so we just have to hope and pray that they'll be fine, or at least better by spring. Another thing I want to tell you that I think you should take to heart and actually realize, learn, and apply is not everything anybody says is personal. And not everything is your responsibility. If someone has a shitty day, people love to project. So they will project their feelings onto you or their surroundings. That doesn't mean that you did something wrong or that you are a shitty person. They're just having a shitty day and they don't know how to deal with it. You have to learn to distance yourself. Today I listened to Leo's podcast. Shout out to Leo. And he said something that really made me think. And I really liked it, so I want to share it with you. He said that you just have to take yourself out of situations and things. For example, an example he used was he was being shitty to me. He was being a shitty person to me. If you just take yourself out, he was being a shitty person. That's just what it is. It has nothing to do with you. And I wanted to share that because I think he was very right with that. And I wanted you to hear it as well, if you haven't. Not everything is your responsibility to deal with. A good example being, I have this girl on my Snapchat. I don't really know her. I don't really know why she is on my Snapchat, but we just text from time to time, like, hey, what's good, what's up, whatever. And one day she texted me and she told me about how she hurt herself. And that might sound like I don't have empathy. I do. But here's what I told her. I told her, hey, look, if you're telling me this to get my pity or my attention, you're definitely at the wrong address. But if you want to figure out a way how to fix it and how to feel better and how to maybe not do that anymore, I'm glad to help. But I won't tell you how sorry I feel for you. I won't tell you how bad everybody else around you is. And I won't act like what you did was understandable or a good thing. Because yes, I understand why people do what they do. But I won't make them feel like it's okay, because that won't help them. Some people need to hear hard truths to actually step back and think and change something. It is not your responsibility to make other people that you rarely even know feel like there's something special. Because I don't know you enough to know that, okay? And to be honest, it is not my responsibility to talk to you about this because, again, I don't know you. I have other priorities, but I still chose to sit and talk to her. And when we talked, she immediately changed her tone because she knew that she wouldn't get no pity from me. And that's when we got to a point in the conversation where we were actually able to look at the problem and ways to fix it. Because if I sat there and told her, oh, I'm so sorry for you, everyone around you is just so bad, they don't understand, blah, 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 that wouldn't have gotten her nowhere. Me neither. That would have just wasted my time, because I don't need to put my energy into that. You see how the course of the conversation changed based on the way I chose to lead it? Learning how to lead a conversation is very important for you to do, because you can get the outcome that you would prefer out of a lot of these situations. That doesn't mean I want you to manipulate no one. We don't do that here. But I want you to lead conversations into the right direction, because there are people that don't have the strength to fix things on their own. That's the people we want to help, not use. If you use someone that's in a very vulnerable state and that comes to speak to you while in a vulnerable state, you're a piece of shit. And that is something I would call you out for, and I would never speak to you again for. You can call me crazy, you can call me petty, I don't care. That's one of my boundaries. That's a limit that I don't see anybody having to cross, ever. It doesn't matter how down bad you are, especially when it comes to money. People love to be all weird and shit. If you have to scam somebody just to make a little bit of money, you just have no self-worth. You just don't believe in yourself. Because if you actually did, you would find something to legitimately make money off. And you can make money just purely off your human capital. Your human capital is whatever you have in your head. That's whatever you learned at school. That's whatever you went to college for. That's whatever you learned in your job. You know what I'm trying to say. But also, conversation skills are a human capital. So if you learn how to conversate properly, that will get you so much further in the right direction. Trust me. And that's what this podcast is actually about. Conversating. But it is not your responsibility to make others be able to voice their thoughts and needs as well as you can. It's not your responsibility. You don't have to find that out. If you can do it, you know that your level of intellect is higher than a lot of people's. But not because you have a higher IQ or because you're necessarily smarter, but just because you choose to put the work in for yourself. And that is what I call the real GOAT. If you put the work into yourself, good job. I'm really proud of you. So I think I've said everything I wanted to say. Thank you very much for watching. Please give this video a like. It would really, really help and support me. And please subscribe to the channel if you don't want to miss any more podcast episodes. I post every Wednesday. Love you, bye.